Welcome to Voices from the Bench, a dental laboratory podcast. Send us an email at info@voicesfromthebench.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Greetings and welcome to episode 258 of Voices from the Bench. My name is Elvis.
Hey, Elvis. My name is Barbara. What's up?
Hey, Barb. How are you?
I am bleeping fantastic.
That is awesome. We have not talked since coming back from the greatest event of all time.
For us, for sure.
For everybody, I think.
Damn.
LMT Lab Day Chicago 2023.
Yep.
Absolutely the best lab day I've ever been to.
It was so much energy and people just everywhere and positive and happy and love it.
If there was any doubt of anyone that had any thoughts of our industry not being strong, you had to have been there that weekend.
Exactly.
It was so pumped.
Yeah.
It was amazing. LMT said there were about, 4,400 people there? 4,400 people all in a hotel. It was packed.
They were all in the big bar, too, let me tell you.
Oh, man.
Crazy. Where everyone goes to see each other.
I went up there one night. I was like, I'm going to do a loop. 3 hours later.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sure.
But we do want to take a quick moment and give a big shout out and a huge thank you to Ivoclar for being such wonderful hosts to Barb and I.
Oh my gosh, they set us up in this awesome little area with the high top tables, and there were so many people with our shirts on and being just, I don't know, I just felt so much love from Ivoclar, from our fans, just from everybody. It was the best meeting ever. I completely agree.
I don't think I'll ever get used to random people asking me if they could have their picture with me.
Yeah, well, they might like you.
They just want proof.
That you exist.
That I'm not an AI bot. Let's not forget Cal Lab. That happened Thursday, Friday. Yep. Barb, out of everybody up on stage, honestly, and I'm not saying this just because you're here, but your panel was probably by far the best.
Well, thank you. I'll only tell you this, that I prepared for a very long time, and it's very hard for me to get up in front of my peers. Even though I might sound like I'm cool and confident, it scares the hell out of me to get up in front of people. But because of this podcast, I feel like I'm getting better at it. So thank you for acknowledging that.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's not neglect the fact that you had great panelists. And that always makes a huge difference.
Hell yeah. And I was the leader, which I love. Especially the three of them were male, which I love.
A little dominant.
It just fit all of my dominant. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Just maybe a little bit. So, yeah.
That was awesome. The whole weekend was great. And just to everybody that stopped by, to those that recorded, thank you. We got a ton of content.
Yeah, we might not have to work on Fridays anymore.
We might take a couple weeks off.
Yeah.
Look for some great conversations coming up. Everyone that just stopped by to say hi, thank you, and just Ivoclar.
And the amazing beanies that Ivoclar made us, they were really, 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 people were just loving those, wearing those. That was a great idea. I know.
Yeah, just what a great event. I got nothing else to say other than
lots of love.
Lots of love. Let's look to next year, I guess.
Right on. I think there might be another LMT in the history books for us, maybe East and West. So
we'll see. Talks are happening. Mm-hmm. But this week, we're going to talk to a couple of married dental technicians from the UK. So we recorded this conversation, in that magical week between Christmas and New Year, when a lot of technicians take that week off, except for you, Barb, who seems to always be working.
Yes, I am.
But the rest of us stayed in our PJs and had a great conversation. And what's really neat is this might actually be the first interview where we didn't know the guests, and then by the time it gets released, we have met them in Chicago.
I know.
And it was great.
And Lola had a shirt on with a beautiful smile, with teeth and lips, and she's just so beautiful, and that was really neat. Yes, totally.
Yeah, it was great to meet both of them. So joining us all the way from across the pond is Lola and Mark Welch. It's funny, at Lab Day Chicago, and I'm walking down the lobby of the Hyatt, And I get this Facebook message from Mark, and it just says, "Is that you?" And I confused. I looked around, and sure enough, there he is. And it was great to meet him and Lola, who eventually showed up like a day or two later.
Wow.
So Lola and Mark come on to talk about getting into dental technology and how they met. I honestly still can't believe they work side by side together in a lab after being married.
No, true.
I don't know how they did that, but that shows you how strong their bond is. But what they're currently doing is what's really exciting. Mark, after bringing a popular printer to the UK, is now with Nexa 3D, a newish printer in the dental lab industry that seems very fast, very accurate, and big on giving back to the environment. And Lola is just exploding with popularity on Instagram. She's now teaching courses, and now she's actually a KOL for a few different companies. So we expect to see a lot more from her soon. So join us as we chat with Mark and Lola Welch. If efficiency and performance are what you are looking for in a compact milling system, then the Program Mill Dry from Ivoclar is the right choice for you.
Produce precise zirconium oxide crowns and bridges, plus a range of PMMA materials, including the innovative iVotion material for the digital production of complete dentures.
Ivoclar provides white glove delivery service, training, choice of service contracts, and their outstanding after-sales service and support, which we all know is super important.
Contact your friendly Ivoclar sales representative today for lucrative promotions and to create a digital solution that's right for you.
And as always, we appreciate your support of the podcast, Ivoclar.
Hey, it's Candulor from Switzerland. We have been designing teeth since 1936. Successful tooth design knows only one benchmark: your own standards and those of your patients. Discover our tooth line PhysioSet TCR with new 18 anterior molds, manufactured specially for the US market and your daily work at your bench. If you are looking for new options in removable, get to know us at candulor.com and find out more. You will be supported and supplied by our authorized dealer, Edmunds Dental Supply. Candulor. High-end only.
Voices from the Bench. The interview.
Hey, maybe there's something to that, Elvis.
Hey, maybe. Bacon with Barb. We'd like to welcome to the podcast. Barb, it's been a while since we've had a married couple on.
Oh, I love it.
Yes, it's been a long while. We always find it an interesting dynamic to talk to. But all the way from the UK, we have Lola and Mark Welch. Welcome.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
How are you two today?
We good. Yeah, we are a bit, maybe not bored, but slightly getting claustrophobic in our house in this, between Christmas, New Year period, just kind of spending our days in pajamas and not thinking much about work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. It kind of dies, right? So you get to actually enjoy your season a little bit.
Typically in England, most of the labs do shut between Christmas and New Year, or at least the ones we always been working for. And it's as a given, it's just shut. And it's great, it sounds great, but then after a few days you kind of like, I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah.
You know?
We don't know how to sit still. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I get that. I'm still working, just saying. So this is my end of the year, and I'm pushing it out like crazy. So I'm still busy, and I'm still a little crazy, and I'm still on the bench, and it's the, 29th of December?
30th, yeah. Even when you're working, you don't know what day it is.
That's good.
We at least have an excuse, Barb. Like, we actually are at home, and I have no concept of time of date or anything. But
I would like to trade places, just momentarily. Just saying.
Lola, Mark, who got into dentistry first, and how did you guys meet? I don't even know how to start the question.
So it's kind of, there is actually no simple answer to that, because we met through work.
Okay.
And Mark was, so I graduated from Medical University of Warsaw in 2004, and same year I came to England and started working in a lab. And Mark was already working in a lab in London West End, but actually you were just at the beginning of starting the college, didn't you? So
That's right. Yeah. I actually started my journey in about 1995, and I was working in a lab down near where I grew up. And then I sort of, after a year of working there, I ended up going up to London, and I worked in a lab in Harley Street. So, and then,
So, Mark,
yeah,
normally when we talk to people on the podcast, we ask, who did you know, or how did you get involved, or
yeah.
like, who did you know that was in dental technology that got you involved, or how did you get into our industry when you were a young lad, I should say?
That's a good question. I was in my early 20s, and I was working for my dad. We had a family business, and I knew I didn't want to take that over. So I was looking in the newspaper for a job, and I found a job in a dental laboratory in the plaster room making dental models.
Ah,
So I totally off my own back. No one
wow.
dragged me into it. I just found it in a newspaper. And that's where I started off. And I was there for about a year. And then after I left there, I basically made my way up to London, to the medical centre of London, which Harley Street.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know that the whole meaning of Harley Street, because like for us here, it's like that's a big deal, like the all famous dentists, doctors, surgeons.
Really?
They're all on one street?
Yeah, so we call it Harley Street, but it's actually quite a few roads like close to each other in West End of London. But it's like a mecca of all the most biggest names in medicine in general. All the private hospitals and everything most of them are around the same area.
Why is that? Is that by design, or
I don't actually know. I don't really know much about the history, how it happened.
they all just want to hang out and have lunch together? It makes it easy. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know, but it's like there is something about it. I think it kind of changed a little bit over the years, but like when I was starting nearly 20 years ago, it was a big deal. Oh my God, you're working on Harley Street. It's a big deal. That's where you end up being big deal as well, just being there.
Yeah, I ended up being there. And I think traditionally the labs was kind of like in-house laboratories.
Yeah.
Like the clinicians had their in-house technicians. But I think it's changing a lot now. I think there's not so many labs there anymore. It's getting too expensive for labs to be there. But when I was up there, sort of when I started in the mid-90s, there was a lot of laboratories on Harley Street, and we were running up and down delivering, and collecting work from the dentist just around the corner and things like that.
So in the mid-90s, and you started pouring models, did you feel that this was the industry for you? I mean, did you like instantly fall in love with it?
I did, although I think at the time, when I ended up in London, I ended up moving up there when I was quite young, and I couldn't really afford it. The salary wasn't really big enough for me to afford to live in London and be able to afford all the things I wanted. So I actually spent all my money and then ended up going back to my parents again and did something completely different. And then after doing that for a little while, I realised that I really missed what I was doing before. And I actually managed to go right back to the lab that had me the first time, and they took me back. They were really happy to have me back again.
So you're one of the very first people that we've interviewed, to be honest with you, that actually found their way through a newspaper. Normally it's a family member or, your dad or your mom or somebody's in dental technology or a dentist friend or somebody kind of pushes you in that direction. So that's kind of remarkable. So basically you answered an ad, fell in love, moved away, then came back, and then you started back with the laboratory that you started with.
That's it.
Is that correct?
Yeah, that's true. And I was very, very lucky they had me back as well. Really, really, really pleased.
If you have someone that can pour a good model, you let them back.
Yeah, I mean? Exactly. True. So true. So then what?
What happened in the UK was we had the GDC registration that came along, and you had to go and get some education and actually get a qualification in dental technology. So back in the day when I was actually first started, I could have probably got into the profession and got my qualification through the grandfather clause of just being working there for a long time. But when I went back again, I hadn't been there long enough to use the grandfather clause, so I had to go to college. So I didn't go to college till about 2006. And,
That was the year we met.
yeah, and
Oh.
I met Lola around the same time. But I ended up doing 4 years at Lambeth College in South London. I've now got a foundation degree in dental technology and a BTEC as well.
So segue into that. So how did you two meet?
Well, so I was working as an in-house tech for this quite well-known implantologist in West End, and I've seen Mark around on a few occasions.
And you said, "Damn, he's adorable."
Well, obviously, but I'm really not a shy person, honestly, because I can almost be sometimes possibly too confident in some places. But I really did like him, so I was very, very shy around him. So Mark would say, "Hi, how are you doing?" And I'm like, "Fine," and walk away, and basically giving him a cold shoulder. And at that time in that lab, so I was working myself just for that one dentist, but the lab also had 2 technicians working there who were just one-man businesses, just using the same space.
Oh, okay.
nice.
Yeah.
And they were like, they both retired now, but they were my dads, basically. There were 2 English guys in their late 60s, and
They
then
mentored you? Dad as a mentor?
yeah, it was brilliant, honestly. I mean, can you imagine what a shock it was for them? They were working together for many, many years, and suddenly this crazy young Polish chick turns up, hardly speaking any English, They really were looking after me. And at some point, I think I did go through, broke up with my previous partner, and they started like asking me questions, is there anybody there you like? And I said, well, there's this guy I see around, and Mark is always laughing at it, but I was like, he's tall, bold, and skinny. That's all I can say. I don't know where he works. I don't know his name. I think he works around, but I don't know which lab. But anyway, to cut this long story short, one day Mark walks into my lab, and Nick, one of my dads, asks him, "Are you the one she fancies?"
Oh my God, that's
And
great.
I literally wanted to die. I wanted the ground to swallow me. Literally just slid under the desk. But for Mark, it was like a green light. It was like, okay,
Aww.
there's something there. And he asked me out, and the rest is history. And we've been together for 16, next year will be 17
Aww.
years. And we got married in 2009. So
Wow.
it's quite a few years now.
And did you always work in separate labs, or?
No. So we, at the time when we first met, I was working for that practice directly, and Mark was in his lab, which was just a lab. But somewhere down the line, actually, my boss, who was a dentist, went into partnership with Mark's boss, who was a technician. And it kind of didn't make much sense to have me on a different premises than the other lab. So I had to move from Wimpole Street to Harley Street. And me and Mark ended up working literally next to each other. We were sitting next to each other for quite a few years. And I know lots of people would say it's a worst nightmare, but we have such fond memories. And I really do mean it. And there is no sarcasm there whatsoever. We had such a good time. And I actually think it was really good for our relationship in a way, like if we ever had any bickering in the morning, we couldn't bring it to work. We have colleagues. We had to sort out things before we walked into the lab. So we had like a period of really great years of like just really enjoying each other's company and riding bikes to work together, being at work together, and then, going for some drinks with other technicians in West End. And we had brilliant, brilliant years.
You see, Elvis, they went and had drinks.
Oh,
That's the Polish in me, you see.
I see what you're saying. So were you married at this time or just dating?
So no, we already were married.
You were married. And they sat you right next to each other.
Yeah, literally next to each other.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
That's pretty tough.
I want to know the roles. So, Lola, what were you doing? And what were you doing, Mark, at that time? Same thing?
I had a little bit I would say slightly reversed career, because lots of prosthetic removable technicians starts from like, simple things, dentures, and then somewhere down the line, if you have a chance, you learn implants. Mm-hmm. However, my career was completely reversed. My first job was directly for surgeon who places implants. So my first job was like, can you make me some immediate loaded crown? And I was doing all on fours conversions and everything from the beginning. And I actually had to learn dentures later, which is
really.
So I've been doing basically working with implants for 20 years now.
Wow.
You did an all-on-4 conversion before you made a traditional regular denture?
Yeah. Honestly, because there was
That's
actually
impressive.
at some point was Mark's bosses who was making the dentures. I wasn't actually even making the denture, and then I was just doing the same day conversion.
Wow.
And when I moved to the lab that our bosses went into partnership, I started learning the whole like really high-end finishes of hybrids and designing and the pink composite finish and everything. But basically my job day to day was just all on 4 all day long, from the whole planning to finishing. And in that particular lab we had a process worker, so I didn't have to do any I was a bit of a diva, I'm not gonna lie.
I was gonna say
I didn't have to do any plaster work, even articulation, any processing. He would even pre-trim the things for me. So the things would just come into me just to finish and make them pretty. That was my job, basically, all day long, just making those really, really high-end full arches. And Mark, what you were doing?
I was doing a lot of different things. I was still doing all the model work. I was doing bleaching trays. I was doing Michigan splints. And then I was actually doing like some of the bridge designs, like reverse bridge designs. So once we had the setups, I was actually designing the bridges inside, and then we were sending them off to be scanned.
Yeah, that was like the very old Noble
titanium
Biocare,
frameworks.
wasn't it? Do you remember when you had to actually make like a Durolay resin bridge?
Like the Forte.
Yeah. So Mark
You
was
still had to wax everything up.
Yeah. And then scan it, and Noble Biocare would mill it. And
yeah, sure.
Wow.
I think at some point I don't think you were officially a manager, but you had...
Yeah, I was.
You had a bit of too much power for my liking.
And then...
Wow.
Yeah, I could boss her around for a little while, so that was good fun.
Yeah. Not only did you work together, one was a superior.
I paid for it when I got home, but
I bet.
But I kind of actually ended up at one point I ended up going over to her lab where she used to work at one point, because we were designing surgical guides over there and things like that, and sending them off to be printed and things like that. So I did a bit of CAD for a couple of years as well over there. So that was good fun.
Lola, did you find doing traditional dentures easy once you did all those hybrids?
No, oh my god, so foreign, because obviously you have completely different principles, all the landmarks you have to be aware of with designing, working with dentures. I now work in a different lab. We left London in 2016. We are now living on a beach. We're living, don't get me wrong, it's not Hawaii. It's actually...
It's the UK beach, I get you.
It's the UK beach, there's stones, and it's howling, most of the year. But, so in this lab, I have to do more... It is predominantly implant lab, but we also do standard prosthetic work. So I had to almost relearn how to make dentures. I'm still learning. I wouldn't say I am the best with removable restorations, because implants are where all my career was about implants. But I've added additional skills over the years, but I'm still learning with dentures, definitely.
Yeah. So you guys left that other lab together? Like both of you were like, we're done?
Yes. So what's
That's the problem with hiring married people.
Yeah.
Stop it.
To cut it, I mean, I don't want to say again, cut the long story short, because it's actually like not that long.
Well, we like long stories.
Okay.
Yeah. We're an hour-long podcast, so
Perfect.
Go for it.
Oh, we love it.
So what's happened is so it was beginning 2016. So our daughter was a year and a half. And we were getting a little bit like, what to do? Do we want to stay in London? Your life is changing once you become a parent. And so you have to think about more the future. We were living in just a 2-bedroom flat with kind of not much possibility to upscale it a little bit. We couldn't afford to buy a house in London, that's for sure. And I started my account on LinkedIn. And literally within maybe weeks of me starting that account on LinkedIn, a recruiter messaged me.
Nice.
And he said, Lola, I've seen your profile and I have a client who is looking for somebody like you. They've been looking for quite a few months now. And I think it would be very good if you could have a chat. And we were not thinking about moving to the coast. I had no idea. I didn't really know that lab. I didn't know anything about them. But I did some research, and turns out it's a great lab. And again, it's next to a big implant practice, which is what I love because I can see the patients. And anyway, I had a chat with them, and the offer was good. And because our daughter was at that preschool age, we thought if we're going to move, this is possibly the best time to move.
Before they start school. Sure.
Exactly. So yes, I handed my notice after 12 years. So it was, for my boss, I think, it was a bit hard. I'm not gonna lie.
And it was a huge risk.
Yeah, of course. But we felt like we're just gonna do it. It felt right at the time, and also for the very long time, I could brag about the fact that I was headhunted for the job, which is really cool.
It's very nice. Yeah.
So yeah, I make sure everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
Here,
I like this girl.
And we moved, and so what happened is we knew we have my job, which was a good job, but we have to sell our place in London and look for other places. And I think, Mark, at that point you were like, not really, you were kind of out of love in being in a lab, didn't you? You were like, I remember we had this conversation that you thought like, even if I can't find a job in a lab, I'm quite happy to do anything to support my career.
Aww.
And then what happened to you, Mark?
Yeah,
Amazing.
You mean you didn't go to this new lab saying, if you want me, you got to take him?
Oh, do you know what I did? But my boss said, I will have one ground rule. I don't employ couples.
Oh, wow.
As I previously stated.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I kind of get it when you have a small team and, people wants to go on holidays together.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Actually, we quite likely would be in the same department. So, and also they were not looking for another person. They were looking for me. They were looking, I was the perfect person for them.
Yeah, they didn't need anybody else after you.
They didn't need it. I was hinting quite heavily but yeah.
So Mark, put us in your head. So where were you at the time?
So I was open to anything. I was hoping to find a job in a lab anyway, and I thought I would find that quite easily. But as it happened back then, when was it? 2016?
Yeah.
There wasn't any jobs going at all in labs. I mean, you could go in the sort of UK magazines like Dental Technician, and there was no jobs being advertised whatsoever.
Completely different to what's happening now.
Completely opposite to what's happening now. But at the time, I went up to one of our dental shows, which is every year in Birmingham, called DTS. It's a big UK dental show, and I spoke to a few dental supply companies up there.
Yeah,
I actually ended up working for a very well-known dental company in the UK. They've been around for about over 60 years now. And at the time, they were like, well, we're looking to actually hire someone. We'd like to hire a dental technician and someone that's got a bit of experience with CAD/CAM and things like this, because we want to start selling 3D printers and lab scanners and things like this. So I basically took the job on, and I was given a 3D printer within a couple of weeks of starting. And I went away and practiced with it. We had a laboratory in-house where we could go and do, we could have labs in and do courses and things like that. So I was basically shut myself away with this 3D printer and a 3D scanner and started learning all that. And then I basically launched a 3D printer into the UK market, and it's now like a global leader. So I was quite pleased with myself with that.
Wow.
Yeah,
that was a Sega. I know we can talk about brands.
So yeah, for sure.
It was 2017. It started sort of kicking off, and nobody had really heard of it then. A Sega in 2017, and started selling them, and sort of had a really, everyone sort of knew I was doing it. I had a really good name for myself.
Did you say you brought the Sega to the UK?
Yeah, we were the first people.
Wow.
We were the first company to sell a Sega. So it was probably about the same time that Whitmix started selling them in the States.
Yeah, okay.
We started selling them, and I was basically doing it all on my own, and I sold hundreds. So
did you even have a team, or was it just you?
No, at the time it was just me, and I had later on in about 2019, they let me have someone to help me, and that strengthened the team. But for the first 3 years, I was on my own, and I was basically training people, selling the printers, training people, supporting them, maintaining them, everything. I was doing it all on my own.
Yeah, no pressure there, right?
No pressure at all.
A lot different than just pouring up models.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved it, and I absolutely fell in love with 3D printing, and it's kind of led me to where I am now. And I actually left that company I was working for about 5 months ago now.
Oh, yeah.
5 months ago, I started working for an American company called Nexa 3D.
Yep.
That manufacture 3D printers, and that's where I'm now. I'm the European customer success director and business development manager for the dental sector. So
wow.
So
really
I can walk around and say my husband is a director. Oh, I love that.
So real quick, when you brought the Asiga to the market, what was printing like in the UK? Was there a lot of labs doing it? Was the market heavy?
There was quite a few people that were using Formlabs already at that time.
Yep.
And it was a bit of a struggle, if I'm honest, because Formlabs had a completely different price point to Asiga.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So when I first started selling Asiga, like the cheapest system they had was about $24,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, compared to like a Formlabs, which was about $4,000 or $5,000, everyone was like, why would I buy this Asiga for that much money when I can just buy a Formlabs for, this much?
Yeah,
and
sure.
It was a real struggle.
And what would you tell them? Curious.
It wasn't easy. I mean, I couldn't, if I'm honest, it was hard with the big machine that they had at the time. So it wasn't until they brought the desktop version out that it was easier.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So and now that was a DLP system. So where we are now is I'm selling the third generation of 3D printers, which is MSLA, which is a completely different. It's similar to DLP, but it's kind of improved on the DLP light engine. So it's really good.
Yeah. Did a headhunter find you for Nexa 3D or?
No, I reached out to the company last year because I'd been kind of watching them for, I think since 2017, I'd been watching them. And it wasn't until last year that they started hiring for dental, for like someone dealing with dental in Europe. As soon as I saw an advert come out this year, I jumped on it, and because I'd reached out to someone already last year, they already knew who I was, and they snapped me up. So I was really, really pleased with that.
Yeah, I've honestly, the Nexa 3D, I've not heard of this printer.
We're based in Ventura in California.
Okay.
Nexa 3D was started in 2016, and we've got some, we've really done well in the industrial market over the last 5-6 years. And now we're targeting the dental market, but it's you'll hear a lot more about it. Put it that way. We're going to be in a lot of places next year.
So it started outside of dental.
Yeah.
First.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get you.
In industrial, so they've got lots of experience with industrial. The CEO and our COO were both CEO of 3D Systems.
Okay, yeah.
So both of those guys worked for 3D Systems. One was actually the CEO.
Yeah. A couple smart people.
12 years, yeah. So obviously, 3D Systems created the 3D printer back in 1980.
Sure.
So got a good pedigree of, people in the company, some really talented young people as well. We're going to be going places. So there's going to be a lot of shows next year, and you'll probably, if you're going to be at any of the shows, we'll probably...
You're in Chicago as well, yeah?
I was just going to say, are you guys going?
I'm going.
Yeah, so Mark is going, and I am kind of thinking about it because we have a daughter and she's at school, and it's not just a quick flight for us.
Yeah,
I'm still considering maybe coming just for like literally Friday, Saturday, and see how things work out. I never been to, and it's always been my dream. And because Mark is going now, I'm like, obviously the jealousy is.
I tell you what, I would love it.
So I would like to do it, but there's some other things I would love to go to, like Ladies of the Mill and other things that are happening in States next year. So I think...
Yeah, my girlfriend and I were just talking about that this morning. She said, I think I'm going to Ladies of the Mill. It's in July. So you should definitely consider that. That would be a solo trip where you'd be like, see ya, Mark.
Yeah. Well, basically, maybe Chicago will be for Mark, and then, it's Nashville, isn't it? That would be
yes, that would be fantastic.
So, Mark can come to Ladies of the Mill. I need somebody.
Well, somebody has to take care of their daughter, so I wasn't being disrespectful. I was just basically saying, all right, that's your trip. This is my trip. See ya. But yes, It's fantastic.
Lola, tell us about this lab you're in now. What's it called, and what is your role?
So it's called Ceramic Designs
I love
Laboratory.
How'd they come up with that name? No, I'm just kidding.
No idea. So we are in the same building as the Implant Center in Hove, Brighton, and it's award-winning referral implant practice. So what we do is, I would say 90%, quite likely, it's implant work, and we do all the work for the practice and external dentists. So we have two departments, which we have prosthetics and we have crown and bridge, but there is obviously CAD in both departments. And so I am one of the senior technicians at the moment. I'm not department lead. There is a girl, Julia, who is doing a great job. I'm not really good actually with managing people, and I'm forgetting things too quickly to do this job well. But I'm good at what I'm doing.
It's good that you can admit that. You know what
100%.
I mean? A lot of people say, I can do it, and they know they can't.
No. I never had any interest in being the leader, the boss. It's just I'm good at what I'm doing, and I know my strengths, and I'm sticking to them. And what I do mainly, like, again, all on force. So this time I actually do make the dentures that will be converted. There is no process work. I mean, we have model room technicians who do the work there. And I do implant planning for the past few years. So I use different softwares to help plan implants for my clinicians. And then I design and print the guides as well, which is something I'm really proud of because I really wanted to learn it. And I can really give myself a pat on my shoulder because I even bought like really powerful gaming laptop to practice at home.
Yeah.
So
Been there, done that.
So I committed myself 100%, but I do it now.
Are you in the surgeries with the surgeon when you do those conversions?
Yeah. So I see the patient. So to give you kind of an example how the process looks, that somewhere down the line through the whole preparation leading towards the surgery, we do like a patient consultation with either myself or another senior technician. So it's almost like an informal chat with the patient, kind of to manage their expectations. Do they want perfectly straight teeth, or about the shade and arrangement? Maybe they have a picture of their teeth from 20 years ago, etc. And then what we do, we show them like a visual trying. We call it visual because most of the time they have teeth, so that we can't try on anything in their mouth. So, but at least we set the teeth for them so they can have a look at it on the models. And then during the surgery, the surgery itself, I'm not involved. I don't really have to be there. But on the
thank God, right?
Yeah, but during the pickup, which is done by another dentist, restoring dentist, they often give us a shout so we can come upstairs to see them. And they asking me, what do you think? Is the midline correct? Is the occlusal plane correct? So we help them decide where the things should be.
Right.
And then they picking up for us, and I take all the elements of the case back to the lab and do my magic, and 2-3 hours later patient leaves with the teeth. Wow. So I still am involved with the patients. If I'm still waiting for that proper tears of joy.
I love that.
Yeah, it's I had people who were like properly overwhelmed. I mean, it can be really like life-changing treatment.
Agree.
So I do deal with the patients, but it's quite limited. It's just enough. It's just enough for what I want and what I need. I think I wouldn't like to be involved much more than that.
I don't think I could handle the surgery and all the blood and all of that. That's way over my head. So I was just curious if you were that kind of technician, because I respect that, but I can't do it.
No, I can be there. I've observed surgeries multiple times, and I'm not fazed by blood or anything else. But equally, there is really no need for me there during the surgery. However, during the restoring process, definitely, I am very happy to be able to go and see the patient and clinician and give my feedback and make sure that patient journeys, have a positive outcome at the end.
And so when you're doing that, are you guys doing, like when you're working with the surgeon, are you guys doing digital dentures or a little analog and a little digital? Or are you guys fully analog at this point?
So at this moment with conversions, I would say it's up to conversion time, it's all analog still. Yeah. I am trying to push things here and there because I did fall in love in digital dentistry over the past few years, and I'm trying to push things But you know how it is. Those things take time, and you're kind of waiting for this right patient, and then something takes over anyway. So we do that. This is all digital, so it's normal denture, analog conversion.
Yeah.
But we offer different types of restorations for the permanent bridges, and those could be just acrylic hybrid on precision mill titanium bar, or can be, full contour zirconia or thimbles with individual crowns. And that's where the cut is starting. So that's where the first drawings can be done in a software. Sometimes we print just a, not the temporary, just a drawing, like a visual drawings we print for them. But up to the conversion, everything is analog. The digital jumps in later at this moment.
Yeah.
What do you do more of, those final acrylic hybrids or full zirconia? What's big there?
So I would say we actually don't really do that much full zirconia recently. I would say it's almost half-half with acrylic hybrid and thimbles. So with the thimbles at this moment, to be honest, what I do is I just slap some nice pink composite. Everything else is done by Crown and Bridge department. So I would love to learn a bit more about staining full contour, because I think I would love to be able to take the ownership of that job. But at the moment, I can't. But still, lots of our clinicians do prefer just a simple hybrid. They like that it's light, it's repairable. And you can actually rewrap it. You can burn off all the plastic and start over. So we do quite a lot of them, and we still use very good materials, high-end teeth. For some of those patients who do show a bit more gum, we offer always composite as an option if they want nice color matched pink gum work as well. But very often it's literally just acrylic on a titanium bar with teeth. However, when they're done beautifully, they are beautiful. They are.
Oh, absolutely, they are.
They're not lacking anything. And these days, teeth we use mainly for Naris 2, which is Ivoclar. And it's a beautiful tooth. And again, none of us, those senior technicians who are finishing them, none of us really just takes them off the card and set them. We always do a bit of characterization, some wear and tear, and I like to put little twists on the teeth and stuff like that. So we always try to make them still, very high-end restorations, even just with acrylic.
That's when our artistry is at its best, in my opinion.
Yes, absolutely.
I love that.
Do you have the signature on every one, slightly rotated?
Yeah, I do like slightly overcrowded lower incisors, because that's actually how my teeth look. My teeth look really, really straight, and then when you look at the lower, it's like, oh, it's not but it looks really natural, and often people actually comment like, oh, you have really nice teeth, and I'm like, oh, thanks. So I quite do the same, but I like a little twist and turns on the laterals. So I really like that.
Oh, I do too. Yeah,
I think it's my favorite thing. Just a tiny bit, and I
think it's sexy.
Yes, 100% agree. And
do.
Most of the patients,
that's my first thought.
Do like
Telling you.
What do you use for your pink composite? That seems to be a hot topic in our industry these.
Because I've been doing this for so many years, I had my hands on so many different brands. So I've learned using Anax Gum, Anax Dent.
There you go.
For years. Then I tried Nexco for a little bit, Ivoclar. Then I tried Enigma, which is Shotlander, but I don't think Shotlander is available in States. I think it's a British company.
Yeah, we've never heard of it.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, but recently I started using Nexco a lot again, and I actually find it so nice to work with. I don't even know why I stopped, to be honest. I think I went on a course that was run with Enigma composites, and when you do this, you just go somewhere and they sold it to me, and I liked it, and I started using it. But now I'm going back to Nexco, and I find it just so much. I can do things so much quicker, because I push it in one place and it stays. It's not sloping, and I'm still kind of working out on my favorite colors, because with other brands like with Anax Gum or GC again, what's the GC composite?
Gradia
again.
Gradia,
shades you go for, and
that's the printer guy. He knows.
Yeah. And Nexco is slightly more translucent in some of the shades, so I'm still figuring out what my preference is, but this is my go-to for the past few months. Yeah,
I love it how every time you ask someone that does a lot of pink composite, there's never an easy answer for what's their favorite.
It's so hard.
It's always a story and a journey, and I love it.
But it's definitely like my favorite part, and like even my Instagram is.
I was gonna say, yeah, hence that.
It's all about the gums, isn't it? It's all about the gums, because I actually do think that's especially on all on four, a gum work can really make that work look so much more natural, and so I do put a lot of effort into it, and I experiment, sometimes successfully, sometimes not. But I do like to change my methods, techniques. Sometimes I glaze, sometimes I hand polish. I do change it, and it kind of depends on the case, but it's definitely my favorite part. But when I do it, I go into a zone. I put my headphones on, and like I ignore my colleagues, and I'm literally just doing this. Anything else I can work and talk, but this one is my little.
Yeah, you got to focus.
Yeah. And I like to give my, I don't like to rush it. I literally spend as much time as I need to on a case until I'm satisfied, because those people pay a lot of money for those restorations. I want to make sure they get the best.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure. Hey, so Mark, switching stories here. So you said the printers were going to be all over the place soon. So what is the plan for that? I'm curious.
I actually just went to a show beginning of November called Formnext in Germany, and that was actually just an industrial show.
Mm-hmm.
So there weren't so many dental customers there. It was mainly the industrial customers there. But we had a huge stand there. So we're really, really going to be doing big things. And as I said, my next trip will be out to Chicago in February. I think it's 23rd to 25th. At the Hyatt Regency in Chicago.
Just saying, you got to come see Elvis and I. We'll be at the Ivoclar ballroom.
Oh, I'd love to. I'm going to definitely come out to you guys. Definitely.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
And then later on in March, we've got probably one of the biggest in the world, which is IDS, as you guys know.
Yep.
So again, we will be there. We'll have a stand there as well. I've done it. I've been there I think I've been there 4 times previously. But I've never exhibited there before. I've always just been running around meeting all of our sort of manufacturers and things when I was working at my last place.
Yeah.
So now we'll actually have a stand there. So it's going to be, I'm expecting it to be pretty hectic out there. It's going to be a big show. So
never been there, but I really want to go this year. So you might see us there as well.
It's great.
So you guys are going to just go balls to the wall and just start selling the hell out of it everywhere?
Yeah, we're going to be doing things big. Yeah, definitely.
Good. Yeah.
Do you guys have the term balls to the wall there?
Oh, yeah. I know.
Okay.
Yeah. So you understand that.
I know it, yeah.
Thanks, Elvis.
I just wanted to make sure we didn't lose them. What's big with the printer? What are a lot of people doing? Do you have resins that are for dentures?
We are an open material platform.
Oh, nice.
As I've already said, we've only just started in the dental arena. So at the moment, one of the companies we've partnered up with is Keystone.
Yo, damn, really?
You know Keystone, you guys.
We know that guy.
So we've got, at the moment, we've got model resin, splint resin, indirect bonding tray, surgical guide. Those are the main ones we've got at the moment, and then we're going to be, there's going to be lots of other third-party manufacturers that we're going to be partnering up with. So we're going to have, a completely open system, basically. The printers themselves are, they're very fast compared to some of the other systems that are out there, and in some cases we're talking about 20 times productivity gains compared to some of the conventional SLA or DLP printers.
20 times faster?
Yeah. So
it's insane. Because we actually have this printer at home in Mark's office, and and because of obviously Mark, before we had Asigas in the lab, and what I can see this one is doing is you just blink and bam, you have a model.
Yeah, we've got 2 systems at the moment. We've got a desktop system and we've got a large industrial system. On the large system, which is called the NXD 200 Pro, we can do about 20 models in about 25 minutes.
Wow.
And then the desktop version, we can do about 8 to 9 models in about the same time, 20, 25 minutes.
Wow.
So it's really, really good. I mean, the accuracy is really high as well. The actual consumable costs are very low as well compared to some other systems out there. So, we're sort of winning in all sorts of categories, I would say.
So forgive me if I'm wrong. You said you're just getting into dental. What were they doing?
Well, mainly industrial. So it's mainly, automotive,
Okay.
things like that. So,
Wow.
some of the industrial customers are, if I can mention names, we've got industrial customers like PepsiCo, Google, Nike. They're some of the big ones. But yeah, we're really heavily invested in industrial for the last 5 to 6 years, but obviously
And,
now branching out into dental.
and you may not know this, but like, why dental? Just because they know that printing's taking off in dental and they decided to get
Yeah,
in it?
dental's a big part of 3D printing, as you guys know now. So
I don't think 3D printing would be where it's at if it wasn't for dental, honestly.
Right.
No, it's
no,
crazy, isn't it?
yeah,
How it took over. Mm-hmm.
totally. So, and I'm just glad that I can I've got, because I've got expertise in dental and 3D printing now. It's, really suiting me down to the ground. I love technology anyway. I'm like an avid video gamer. I love my technology and gadgets and things like that. So,
And you said you guys have one at home?
yeah, I've
Yeah.
got one at home as well.
What
Yeah.
the hell are you printing at home? I'm just curious.
Oh,
Toys.
yeah. Yodas and things like that, as you do.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
no. Actually, I think we're not printing enough as we could do. I think this is my New Year's resolution.
I would say so.
Printing more crap that is not dental related.
Print more knickknacks. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's good that you're bringing this to the dental industry with your dental background, like you mentioned, because if someone brings into our industry a product and they have no previous dental experience, it's obvious.
Yeah, I get
and it's going to help a lot.
Yeah.
Question is, does Ceramic Designs, do they have this printer yet? Do they have them on order?
No, so no, we don't have that one yet.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, exactly.
Knocking on the door, but
Yeah, no, we don't. So we have two Asigas. We have the big one, the 4K, and
Sure.
we recently got something. Gosh, I actually don't remember the name. Yeah, it's just like a budget small desktop printer as a backup. But to be honest, we're printing more and more and more, and I do think that's quite likely Nexa will be the next one in our lab. What I like about it is me and Mark were quite. I mean, dentistry is such an environmentally unfriendly industry, isn't it? It's just so much waste, especially with, we're printing now models which are plastic and there's not much really you can do with it. But
oh, sure.
Just the one little thing I straight away liked about an Nexa 3D was that the little trays, you fill with the resin.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like with Asiga, we just have to dispose them once they're done. In here, you just replace the bottom of the tray, the membrane. So it's actually very little plastic waste that comes from the machine.
Oh, so a little clear bottom. You just pop it out?
Yeah, you just unclip it from there. You've got basically like an aluminium vat. The main body of it's aluminium, and then you unclip the membrane underneath and dispose of that.
And it's a very simple process, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very, very, very quick to do that. And then the other part of it is our desktop printer, which is called the Zip. It's most of the actual chassis is made from aluminium, so it's actually recyclable. The actual printer itself is recyclable after, so in years to come you can actually recycle that. And also when we sell a Zip, we plant trees as well. We've got a little project in Africa where we're planting trees.
Wow. Talk to me about that. I'm curious.
Yeah, so I haven't actually got all that information to hand with me at the moment, if I'm completely honest. I can get that.
No, just tell me, what do you mean planting trees?
Yeah, so when you get a Zip, as soon as you register the printer, you get a little pop-up on the front screen and it says we've basically planted 10 trees.
Oh, I love that.
We're trying to basically offset our carbon footprint, which a lot of our competitors I don't think are doing.
Wow.
So that's some of the ways that we're trying to achieve that.
Oh,
anyway.
I think that's a huge point.
Yeah, we've also got aluminium bottles as well. So our materials come in aluminium bottles rather than plastic bottles as well. So
and what is that? I've never heard that.
Aluminum.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you guys say aluminum. Sorry. So
got it.
Yeah, I can't say it anyway.
No, that's true.
But yeah, in the Zip we have an aluminium bottle, which basically you actually insert the bottle into the printer and it actually automatically fills the vat up, so it keeps the resin topped up.
So you're environmentally friendly and
So the bottles themselves can actually be recycled as well, so they're not just made from plastic.
That's true,
that's
because
yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you how many plastic resin bottles I've just
It's
tossed
crazy,
away.
Yeah, we print so much every day, and those bottles are going off the shelves like so quickly. And the trays again, because sometimes you just damage the tray, and then you just have to throw it away. And I think for a while we were storing things, thinking, maybe one day we can start recycling it. But actually we realized we're storing so much of that stuff that we don't know what to do with it.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's quite nice that there are some companies who are looking into kind of offsetting that damage that it's done with the industry, because it is such a wasteful industry.
I
mean,
do too.
in everything we start, even the amount of gloves we're using is just crazy. And so all those little things, I think they do count and adapt to something better.
That's right. And
I love that.
I just pulled up the information. I'm sorry I didn't have it earlier, but it's basically in Tanzania.
Yep.
So we're basically planting 10 trees for the small desktop printer, and I think it's 20 trees for the big machine. And that will go towards creating sustainable livelihoods for local farming communities and empowering.
Do we get to pick the trees?
I don't think we go that far, but yeah.
No, but I think that's remarkable.
For a little bit better.
Yeah.
I want 4 Christmas trees, a willow tree.
I just think it's remarkable. I haven't heard that yet, that a company would go to that extent to give back to the environment. I love that.
Yeah. No, I'm really proud of that as well. I mean, the other thing just to mention is our family. We went completely our diet is completely plant-based now as well. So we're actually trying to contribute to that as well.
It's not the easiest thing I've ever done.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. We love it.
Yep.
Wow. It's not easy.
No, it's not easy.
Not at the beginning. Not at the beginning, but now
it's been like 5-6 years now.
It's
and
natural, isn't it, for us now? Yeah.
And we brainwashed our child well enough that she
doesn't know any better, so that's a great thing.
You know what? She's very clever little girl. She's 8.5 now, and she understands where the food comes to her. The food on her plate. So we're educating her, but without scaring her. But it's her choices still. But at least we feel like we're doing something better, because I think we both felt at some point that the future is doomed. It's so bad.
Yeah, I had an eye opener about that a couple years ago, and I really am just all for anything that we can do to better our bodies and the planet and the world we're leaving behind for our children, and just it's just so important that I love that about your company. So, and you guys' life, that's really a good thing. And Elvis, he'll chime in shortly.
No, I eat meat. Sorry.
I eat meat.
It's absolutely fine, and we're not one of those people who trying to preach you. I mean, maybe at the beginning I was a little bit, but now I kind of let it go. But I do feel very proud of our lifestyle. And if anybody just asks me why would you do it, it's like my simple answer is it makes me feel good.
Yes,
it makes me feel good. That's the end of story.
And that's really the bottom line. Honestly,
I was vegan for 7 years.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So I did my part.
Yeah.
You can definitely say
it just didn't last.
So what's next for you two?
Yeah, what's next other than both of you coming to Chicago?
Yes.
So for me, there might be potentially some exciting things coming next year. There's nothing set in stone yet, but I am quite new to whole social media thing. But this we met, didn't we, Elvis?
Yeah, that's how I find most of my friends.
Yeah. But it's only been literally a couple of months, and in this couple of months, I end up talking to you guys, and now I've been potentially offered some teaching, some courses on composite and digital dentures. So I can't really say too much because, like I said, I haven't really have anything, like I said, set in stone, but I proposed my teaching program to the company, and if it's going to work out, it's going to be great. So quite likely will be a few days in a year that is just a full day of just a pink composite, and potentially a couple of courses, which are 2 days, when first day is designing digital dentures and next day pimping them up with composite.
Fantastic.
So that literally happened since I started my Instagram 2 months ago. So
did you say 2 months?
Yeah. So you know Nina. Everybody knows Nina.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows Nina.
Actually, Mark sent me link to Nina's webinar like few days before the webinar was actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, haven't actually done any courses. Even though I've been doing this for so many years, I love learning new methods from other technicians. So I always go to courses if I have opportunity. And it's a webinar, I can do it from home. And at the end of the webinar, Nina asked me like, so Lola, where can I see your work? What's your Instagram name? And I'm like, well, don't have one. so she gave me a little kick. And literally that night, I think I started my Instagram and I'm loving it. And, I'm making friends all over the world and chatting to all those technicians that I've been following before, but I never really shared my work. So yeah, I hope that some exciting things come out of it. I certainly love it because it's like having lots of mentors, online. And
absolutely.
I like sharing my knowledge too. I do think that it's really damaging to hold it for yourself, everything. So I think it was like that years ago, that all the dental technicians wanted to keep everything for themselves. But now people in California, they're not my competition. I'm more than happy to share some little trick I've worked out over the years with them. So I love that. So hopefully things will come out of it.
It sounds like it. Within 2 months, you have an opportunity.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Why wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I mean, I love it. First of all, I think I'm one of those people who absolutely love what they're doing. And I'm always been saying how lucky I am, because I have friends in different industries, working in corporations, office jobs, those people who hate going to work.
Yeah.
And, don't get me wrong. Sometimes you have those days when you hate your bench.
Of course.
But generally, I can't imagine doing anything else. And I absolutely love it. And I think, especially going on Instagram and chatting to other people, kind of, I use that term that it gave me my dental mojo back,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Love dental mojo.
I really drive on it. I find it really exciting. People are so friendly, so positive. So far, I didn't have any saying anything nasty about my work. I'm sure it's going to happen. But yeah, no, it's great. It's great.
That's awesome. And then Mark, you got Chicago, IDS, and just taking this printer to the next level, right?
Busy man.
Yeah, getting out there in the UK with all my contacts I already have, and there's some study groups that we have around the UK, dental technician study groups and things like that. So going to be getting out there.
Awesome.
Spreading the word.
Is your territory the whole UK?
No, my territory is Europe.
It's Europe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, that got bigger.
I was
my last role was the UK and Ireland, and now I'm Europe. So I'm not only sort of trying to develop Europe, but also I'm customer success for Europe. So I'm actually all of our resellers all over Europe are making sure that they are looking after their customers well. So it's all
amazing
support tickets and going out and training and helping them maintain their systems and things like that. So
you must travel a lot.
I have been. I've only been there for 5 months, and I've been to a lot of places already. So, but I quite enjoy it, actually. I mean, obviously I don't relish being away from my family a lot, but at the same time, I really enjoy. I've got some great opportunities.
Well, what I'm saying is, since you travel so much, she should be allowed to go to Ladies of the Mill.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, definitely.
Yes.
It's called a trade-off.
I like that.
Yeah, no, we were kind of not worried, but we were thinking how it's going to work out for our little family with my traveling. But actually, it's fine. It's working out, and my company was actually really lovely. They helped me to shorten my hours, so I was able to take my daughter to school and pick her up, because that was Daddy's job before, picking her up. And so for time being we fine. And normally those trips are happening during the week, when, as long as he's back home for the weekend, me and my daughter have a little routine, and it's working, and we're watching our girly Netflix shows, when he's away. So we're on the 3rd season of Gilmore Girls now.
Awesome.
So it's working, and it's not actually as much as we thought so far, isn't it, with traveling? Yeah.
Worked out about right.
Yeah.
Lola, Mark, thank you so much. What a great story.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
It's been a pleasure. I do hope that, I'll be able to bump into you one day.
You will.
If it's not Chicago, then maybe Ladies of the Mill.
Us Polish girls can talk about food and life.
Absolutely.
And love
Barbara,
and
I have to say, I was listening only a couple of weeks ago to the episode with gosh, I forgot her name, but it's the lady. She was in her 80s already. You were chatting in Chicago.
Oh yes, Camilla.
It actually brought tears to my eyes.
Oh yeah,
what a wonderful woman. And actually, from that episode, I've learned about your Polish heritage.
Aww, awesome.
It's amazing. Yeah, she is amazing. Yeah,
super proud of it.
She went on and on.
She's badass. I love her. Yep, totally.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great new year in 2 days.
Yay.
And 2023, we'll run into each other.
Thank you so much.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. A huge thanks to Mark and Lola for coming on our podcast. I swear to God, it was so cool being able to meet you both in Chicago. I super loved your shirt. I love the fact that you're Polish. We took a bunch of pictures together. It was just super cool. Check out Mark's printer, the Nexa 3D, if you're in the market and want a few trees planted in your name. And if you want to see more of Lola's work, or if you are in her area, she has some courses coming up that we will put a link on this episode's show notes. And of course, and I don't think I've said course enough, maybe 3-4 times, if you want to follow her on Instagram, it's at all_about_the_gums. There, she will keep you updated on all of the amazing things that she is either making or teaching. But also, we got to give her a shout out. She is now a new member of the DTG. Congratulations, and keep up the great work, Lola. I love you, Polish lady.
You Polish people.
We stand by each other, let me tell you. And we make damn good technicians.
Apparently. That's where we need to get all the new technicians from.
We're fast, accurate, high end.
All right, everybody. That's all we got for you. We appreciate it, and we will talk to you next week.
See ya.
Bye. Does anybody need to see that?
Do you want me to show you? My hair is out so far. It's hilarious.